My name is Shandon, and the topic that I'm doing is the Industrial Revolution. What was the Industrial Revolution? The Industrial Revolution refers to the rapid change in the economy and social change during the 18th century and the mid-19th century. How did the Industrial Revolution affect the people? It brought national income up, and it prolonged evolution in nature of economic activity. It also, things that were made by hand were now being made by machines, which later led to a large scale of factory production. Industrial revolution was helped by technological innovations such as steam power, cheaper iron, specialization, the growth of modern banking, and new machines which could do the work of several people. Some important people of the Industrial Revolution were Edmund Cartwright. Edmund Cartwright invented the power loom to increase the efficiency of textile production. The power loom was made to arrange wool for treatment, and the power loom was designed in 1784 and was first built in 1785. Cartwright also developed a wool combing machine, and as you can tell by the name, you already know what it does. Then there was George Stephenson. George Stephenson created the blucher, which was capable of hauling bigger loads, and he was a key figure in building the 25-mile Stockton and Darlington Railway. Then there was Eli Whitney. Eli Whitney revolutionized the production of cotton by speeding up the process of removing seeds, and he did this by creating something called a cotton gin. He made little money from the cotton gin due to the patent infringement issues, and his design ended up getting stolen later on, and plantation owners built their own, and some being better than Whitney's model. Then there's John D. Rockefeller. Rockefeller became one of the wealthiest people in the world, and he did this through his ownership of oil and railroad industries. With his wealth, he gave money to churches, schools, and medical sciences. Then there's James Hargreaves. James Hargreaves created the spinning jenny, which was the early abbreviation of engine. It allowed people to produce multiple spools of thread, all in unison. After Hargreaves' death, over 20,000 spinning jennies were in use. Later, it was improved by Samuel Crompton and was later known as the spinning mule. Life before the Industrial Revolution. Most people lived in very rural communities, and their everyday life revolved around farming. For the average person, life was difficult, and people were getting very little income, and malnourishment and diseases were very common. People got most of their supplies and everyday needs from their farms, and most of the making of these items were made in small houses using simple tools. Production of these things took a long time because everything was handmade. Life after the Industrial Revolution. The production of many things were a lot faster due to many inventions that people made. A lot of labor-intensive jobs became easier. Transportation of goods and other necessities became faster due to the creation of the steam engine and Robert Fulton's steamboat. Then in the early 1800s, Richard Trevithick created the steam locomotive. Communication also became easier with the creation of the telegraph made by William Cooke and Charles Wheatstone. And in the 1770s, stock exchange was introduced. It also brought along a high standard of living, but the poor were still getting paid low wages and working conditions were very dangerous. Children were also put into labor and being in charge of very dangerous jobs, such as cleaning the machinery. Due to industrialization, more people began to move to industrialized areas, making places very overpopulated and made living hard with overcrowded housing and unsanitary living conditions. Industrialization spread, and it eventually spread to the US. I feel that we need to study the Industrial Revolution because it helped create not only a more effective work ethic, but also more job opportunities. The positives about this revolution is that things that we need are easily attainable, and it makes living a lot easier. Another good thing about this revolution is that with all the new machinery that we have today, more new things can be made that we might possibly need in our everyday life. Negatives about this revolution is that because everything is so easy to attain, people tend to get rid of more stuff knowing that they can get more of it later. For example, because shirts can be made very easily, people have the mindset that it's okay to get rid of a bunch of clothes because they can always get more of it. I can relate to this because every time I outgrow my clothes, I know that I can get rid of them because I can always buy new clothes. This is a negative thing because more and more piles of clothes are wasted and they end up being left in places unable to decompose. Another example is plastic water bottles or plastic bottles in general. Because of the mass production of water bottles and the need for water, people buy and get rid of them every day, which leads to ocean pollution and litter being all over the place. This is also something I can relate to because I buy water in school and after I'm done with it, I throw it away without knowing where it goes and what harm it could do to the earth. Although the Industrial Revolution has its flaws, without it happening, the world wouldn't be what it is today.